Hey, my name is Fernando Martinez, driver of the El Toro Loco, and you're listening to the Rodcast.
What is going on, everybody? Project Rod here, and welcome to the Rodcast, the Monster Truck Fanatic podcast, which is your ultimate destination for all things monster trucks, whether you're a die-hard Monster Jam fan, a passionate follower of the sport, or just an avid player of the Monster Jam or monster truck-related video games. This is the podcast for you. Once again, I'm your host, Project Rod, and we are on episode 28 of the Rodcast, and we have a good one today. Basically, just going to be going over World Finals 1 for the Showdown Champions League. It's here, it's done, it's done and over with. Champions have been crowned, and it was a fantastic competition, and I am looking forward to the future as well as everybody else. We will be speaking on the future of the Showdown series, as Season 2 is in the sights for everybody, as well as speaking on the Steel Titans League, where that is at, and a little bit more Q&A. Caden, the great one, he's pumping out these questions like crazy, and I do appreciate that. It gives me some more topics to touch upon on these episodes, and it helps a ton. Keeps it a little interesting. So let's go ahead and dive right in with the results for Showdown Champions League World Finals 1. Again, your tour champions being Black Pearl and Steel Titan and Maximum Destruction and Matt Johnson. Both of those drivers being absolutely dominant in their tours respectively. Again, Matt Johnson and Maximum Destruction basically running away with Tour Violet since the beginning. Had Northern Nightmare on his tail up until stop 5, where he kind of took a nosedive, unfortunately, and Dragon took that second place spot from him. Tour Blue was a little more interesting in terms of a bit of a battle, if you will, between Black Pearl and Megalodon. They just were going constantly back and forth with racing and whatnot. And even though Megalodon ran away with it for a few stops, it was Black Pearl who came in and had an amazing comeback to win the tour as a whole. It came all the way down to the event championship for him to take it, as Megalodon, even though after stop 5 was completely done, Megalodon had a 1-point lead over Black Pearl. But again, with that rule where the tour champion or the event champions get 5 bonus points, that is what basically put the final nail in the coffin for Megalodon and gave Black Pearl the tour championship. So huge congratulations to them, and all eyes were on them as well as the other competitors going into World Finals. And again, starting off World Finals, we had our LCQ, the last chance qualifier, to fill that 14th and final spot in the lineup. Again, there was the top six for Tour Blue, and the top 7 for Tour Violet, making 13 total trucks needing that 14th final truck. And in order to pick that 14th and final truck, we had the bottom 6 competitors who were left, the bottom 3 from each tour, race in a last chance qualifier competition. Those trucks and drivers were Worst COD Player in Son of a Digger, Ant99 and Velociraptor, Flames Plays and Pirate's Curse, Driftboy 912 and El Toro Loco, Little Drift 912 in Monsterman, and Nova Strider in Crush Station. So we started the last chance qualifier with regular qualifying to get the racing bracket set. And Worst COD Player in Son of a Digger led us off with a 26.998 Velociraptor, and Ant99 followed right behind him with a 26.331, and then Flames Plays and Pirates Curse, the third truck out, came out with a 26.194, which led the rest of the qualifying competition, as El Toro Loco, Monsterman, and Crush Station were not able to beat those times. Those are the remaining trucks left. And Pirates Curse was your fastest qualifier, getting that bye run into round 2, as well as Velociraptor. And at 99, again, this was a 6-truck lineup, meaning a 4-truck round 1 and a 4-truck semifinal round 2. So 2 trucks had to get bye runs into the semifinal round, those being, again, Pirates Curse and Velociraptor. And right off the bat in racing for the last chance qualifier, we had Monsterman against Son of a Digger. Unfortunately, both trucks getting a penalty in racing, which, again, let me remind you, or I haven't really brought it up, but it was mentioned in the actual competition that there was a new rule in racing where in the regular season we would allow drivers to drive over the smoke gates. That was not an issue at all, as long as you were either on top or within the smoke gates and ramps. You would not get a penalty. It would be a legal pass, and there would be no issues whatsoever. But for World Finals, we changed that rule to where you had to be within the smoke gates no matter what. You could not drive on top of these smoke gates. If you did, that would be a penalty. And unfortunately, we saw quite a few of those in qualifying and racing for both the Last Chance Qualifier and World Finals events. So now that I've touched up on that, Monster Mutt and Son of a Digger both getting penalties, driving over a smoke gate at some point, but it was Son of a Digger with the faster time in the end. Moving on to round 2, or the semifinal round, I should say, against Pirates Curse. Then it was Crush Station and Nova Strider against Drift 1912 and El Toro Loco, where El Toro Loco unfortunately suffered a penalty, which cost him the race and gave the win to Crush Station and Nova Strider. Now here's the thing. This is where the penalties really affect these drivers, because Crush Station had a 26.879, where El Toro Loco had a 29.877. Now, take away the 3-second penalty that he received, he would have had a 26.877. So a 0.002 difference between these two drivers. That is that's the difference here. El Toro Loco would have gotten the pass, but because of that penalty, it went to Crush Station, and she would move on to race Velociraptor in the semifinal round. So in the semifinals against Pirates Curse against Son of a Digger, where Son of a Digger would receive a penalty and Pirates Curse would take his win, the first win of his this season, as unfortunately he went 0 for 5 in the regular season. So he got his first win of the season and got his pass into the final round for the LCQ. And then again, it was Velociraptor against Crush Station, where Crush Station was just a second faster than Velociraptor and took the win to go and face Pirates Curse in the championship round. So both of these drivers had everything that it took, both of them being from Tour Violet, so representing quite a stacked tour. And it was Nova Strider and Crush Station who was victorious in the end over Flames Plays and Pirates Curse, taking that LCQ win and getting that 14th and final spot into the main field lineup for World Finals 1. So huge congratulations to Nova Strider. Huge shout out to her as she put on an amazing racing bid in the LCQ, and she had quite a phenomenal season 1. Of course, not exactly where she would have hoped to have been, but over time you could see her progression in her skill, both in racing and best trick and freestyle alike. So it was great to see her win and see what she had in store for us in World Finals. And it's unfortunate for the other drivers, but we do hope for a better future for them in this series or other series, and hoping nothing but good stuff for them moving forward. So moving on to qualifying for World Finals 1, again, a stacked 14 truck lineup with the best of the best from both tours. Lucas Stabilizer and Cecily 96 starting us off with a 25.859, and that would hold as Monster Mutt Dalmatian would come out, Blue Thunder would come out, then Crush Station, Avenger, Gravedigger. All those trucks would come out and would not be able to beat her time until Matt Johnson of Maximum Destruction, being the 7th truck out, would put down a pretty amazing time of a 25.331. His first attempt was a 28.054. Take away 3 seconds from that because there was a penalty, it would have been a 25.054. So a stupid fast time and almost breaking in to the 24-second area or 24-second marker, but unfortunately was not able to do so and came in with a 25.331. Megalodon followed right after and unfortunately was not able to take that lead. Northern Nightmare Daniel Murray came out on his first attempt, rolled the truck over, and was not able to come out for the rest of the competition. Brutus, following Northern Nightmare, almost beating that time for Matt Johnson, but was just slightly off as he had a 25.481. Alien Invasion would come out and again not able to take that lead away. Black Pearl and Steel Titan came extremely close as his first time was a 25.653, so that's where he wanted to be. His second attempt was the one that would have done it, that would have taken the lead. Unfortunately, there was a penalty that was added to him for that smoke gate. Again, that smoke gate took down a lot of crazy fast trucks in this competition, as he got a 28.199, which was a 25.199, which was exactly enough to knock out Matt Johnson and Max D for that top spot. So they would have been the top 2 qualifiers, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, as Dragon and Gravedigger the Legend followed right after Black Pearl, the final 2 trucks, and they were not able to dethrone Matt Johnson and Max D. So he continued this amazing streak, his amazing undefeated streak and crazy fast streak that he's been on all season long, carrying it into World Finals 1. So Matt Johnson and Max D and Angel Garcia and Brutus were your top 2 fastest qualifiers and got a bye run into round 2. Moving on to racing, it was quite an amazing racing competition. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trucks or at least there were seven different I guess instances of penalties out of the entirety of the racing competition, and 6 of those 7 were all in round 1. So that just shows you that when it came to racing, everybody more or less was in their groove and had it all figured out. So starting off in racing, to lead us off was Blue Thunder and Alien Invasion, where by just about half a second, Alien Invasion took the win and moved on to round 2. Then it was Megalodon against Gravedigger, where Gravedigger unfortunately was not able to finish the race as he received a penalty and then kind of went off the track a bit, and at that point it was already said and done. Megalodon was already at the finish, so he did not finish his race. Megalodon moved on to round 2. Then we had Avenger and Lucas Stabilizer, a battle of the Texans, to follow suit, and Lucas Stabilizer was the winner of that race, moving on to the next round. Then we had Black Pearl and Northern Nightmare, the battle of the Canadians from Ontario, to be exact, both of these drivers being from Ontario, Canada. But it was Black Pearl who came out on top, which it was a incredibly close race, but Northern Nightmare had a penalty and still would have had the loss regardless. But Black Pearl with a 25:039, the fastest time we had seen up to this point. Even faster than Matt Johnson, where he had that penalty. He would have had a 25:054, but got that penalty. It was still faster than that, as Black Pearl again had a 25:039. So he was out here putting down some stupid fast times, and were just signs of things to come. But again, moving on down to the last 2 racing competitions, we had Crush Station against Gravedigger the Legend, where Gravedigger the Legend unfortunately received a penalty, and Crush Station moved on to the next round. And then to wrap things up, we had Dragon against Monster Mutt Dalmatian, where Dragon, even though both trucks received a penalty, Dragon had the faster time with the penalty and moved on to the next round. So moving on to round 2, we had Matt Johnson and Max D against Alien Invasion, a typical typical matchup we had seen all in the regular season. But of course, Matt Johnson and Max D continuing that undefeated streak by half a second, beating Alien Invasion, moving on to the semifinals. Then we had Megalodon against Lucas Stabilizer, who we have seen race each other all season long in Tour Blue. But it was Megalodon who took the win by just a little over half a second, moving on to race Max D in the semifinal round. Then we had Black Pearl against Crush Station, your last chance qualifier winner against the Tour Blue champion, where your Tour Blue champion came out on top with a 2-second deficit between them and moved on to the semifinal round. And then we had Brutus, the second fastest qualifier, against Dragon, where Brutus would have won that race, but unfortunately received a penalty, and Dragon got the bid into the semifinal round. So these semifinals were matched up. They were set. We had the top 2 drivers from each tour racing against each other, that being Matt Johnson and Max D against Pillar 89 and Megalodon, the number 1 of Tour Violet and the number 2 of Tour Blue, facing off at the first race of the semifinal round. And then to wrap the semifinal round up, we had Black Pearl and Steel Titan against Dragon and Arcanine 59, with Black Pearl being the Tour Blue champion, number 1, and Dragon being number 2 for Tour Violet. So an amazing matchup here, where Matt Johnson and Max D would beat Megalodon, again continuing that undefeated streak by about 0.3 seconds and moving on to the championship race, and Black Pearl beating Dragon by almost 2 seconds, unfortunately for Dragon, and he and Black Pearl moved on to the championship race. So a match made in heaven, a heavyweight matchup here, a heavyweight fight. I couldn't even think of any other ways to describe this matchup. I mean, this was a monumental matchup here. This is what everybody wanted to see. The top 2 driver, or the top driver from each tour racing against each other. Mind you, Black Pearl almost could have went undefeated in the regular season as well, but the final race of the season unfortunately was lost due to a penalty. And the other race that he lost was a photo finish match. So he was more than capable to beat Matt Johnson, who had gone undefeated all season long. So both of these drivers, again, an amazing matchup that everyone was dying to see. And we were all seeing it here in the championship race, where Matt Johnson and Max D would be just 0.00 seconds faster than Black Pearl and Steel Titan to win his first ever racing championship here in World Finals 1. So Matt Johnson and Max D is your World Finals 1 racing champion. Again, it could have went to either driver, but Max D was faster just by 0.006 seconds. That was the difference here. One of the closest races we've seen all season. And it was an incredible matchup. And huge props to everybody involved, especially Steel Titan and Black Pearl for hanging on there and almost dethroning Matt Johnson. But Matt Johnson, again, going undefeated in the regular season and in World Finals. He's continued that streak. He went from 15-0 to 18-0 overall. And he has quite a, well, I don't want to say legacy, but quite a title, I guess. Quite a weight to carry on his back for the future seasons and see how long he can keep this undefeated streak going. So looking forward to the future for him and for the rest of these drivers. But moving on to best trick, which was the next competition. Again, a stacked lineup of trucks, but this was the tricky part here, is that the rules for judging were, I wouldn't want to say strict, but basically you wouldn't be judged for, basically it was changed to where not one run would win the entire thing. You had to be good in both attempts. You had 2 attempts to go out and pull out your best tricks possible. And each trick, since there were 2 attempts, could earn a maximum of 5 points each to make the total score earned up to 10 points. Meaning, if you come out and do something phenomenal and get a 5, that's it. You won't get any more for that move if you come out on that second move and do like a slap wheelie or something and get just a couple points. Regardless of how phenomenal your first attempt was, your second attempt has to follow with the same energy. If not, then chances are you wouldn't get the win. And we saw quite a few of those. Again, Blue Thunder and Riley Strider led us off and had a phenomenal first attempt, one of the best ones we've seen, an amazing combo. But the second one was somewhat of a failed attempt as he popped it into a nose wheelie, and I'm not sure what happened. Maybe it locked up a bit or something. He landed it back down on all fours and it popped it up into a wheelie. But at that point, all 4 tires hit the ground, and that was it. So regardless of his phenomenal first attempt, he didn't get much for the second one, and he was only able to score a 7.305, which held for just a little bit. Monster Dalmatian, April Summers, again, another truck that came out with a phenomenal first attempt. A reverse flip into a wheelie into a front flip. Phenomenal. Amazing combo, but the second attempt was a bit of a failed attempt, and that's what kind of killed her run, and she earned a 7.022. Cecily 96 and Lucas Stabilizer followed suit right after Monster Dalmatian and took the lead with a 7.572. Both attempts were, I was going to say clean, but they were both successful attempts that got the job done. So, you know, she ended up taking the lead there. And then Black Pearl and Steel Titan, the 4th truck out, came out with 2 phenomenal attempts. As attempt number 1 kind of followed that of April Summers. Again, the reverse flip off the container into a wheelie, into a front flip, cleanly done. There was no other hiccups, just a clean, perfect combo. And then attempt number 2, which surprised a lot of us. He started off with a bicycle. And again, this track wasn't really made for bicycles, as it wasn't the best track in terms of freestyle and best trick. You had to get really creative, and a lot of these moves were done on the same side of the track. But bicycles were something that were kind of, I don't want to say avoided, but they were kind of avoided because you couldn't really go anywhere before running into the crush cars or running into a different obstacle. But he made it work. He got off the bicycle ramp and kind of circled around a quarter of the track, went into that center pod, jumped up and over, landed in a nose wheelie motion, went to another obstacle, and then just completely backflipped, off of it. It was just, explaining it doesn't do it justice. It's better if you actually watch it, because it was phenomenal. And from then, he took the lead with a 9.516. Matt Johnson and Max D came out right after him, so our 2 heavy hitters going back-to-back early on in the lineup. And it was pretty close for him. It was very close for him to take the lead. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to. He got a 9.137, but he started off with a reverse bicycle, 180'd it into a regular bicycle, and then went and did a front flip on the opposite ramp that Black Pearl did his backflip on. Went and did a backflip there. It was phenomenal. Again, one of those things that you just have to watch to actually understand the complexity and the amazingness of it. And then he followed with his signature move where he popped it up. He got on an obstacle, popped it up into a wheelie, and just throttled it to do 2 backflips, 2 consecutive backflips before landing it back on all 4. So phenomenal attempts both times, but unfortunately not enough to take the lead. Nova Strider came out right after that, scored a 7.121. Arcanine 59 Dragon had a failed attempt for attempt number 2, got an 8.508. MMJ Producer and Alien Invasion 8.079. Brutus right after 8.506. Megalodon 8.181. Gravedigger, kind of fluffy, came out with a double backflip, which was phenomenal. Unfortunately, not enough though. 8.418. Northern Nightmare and Daniel Murray came out kind of wild and a little bit off the wall. Great attempts both times. Kind of doing that signature move that Matt Johnson does, doing the backflips where he pops it up and then does backflips off of the ramp. He did about 4 of them. But after that, the second attempt was just kind of a little all over the place. And seems like more of a freestyle run than the best trick one, and he scored an 8.878. Gravedigger Legend followed suit, another truck with a phenomenal first attempt. I mean, the combos in attempts number 1, absolutely phenomenal. Had me speechless and wowed a lot of people that were watching as well. And probably one of my favorite combos, but again, the second attempt was the one that was kind of the undoing. And Curtis score 8.519, and then to end the competition was Avenger and Toucan Plays who scored an 8.197, and unfortunately was not able to take the lead. So Black Pearl and Steel Titan is your World Finals 1 Best Trick Champion, and it was I guess a championship that was very well earned, as it was phenomenal. Both attempts were perfect. They were clean, amazing combos, wow factors all the way around. Just it was amazing. So huge congratulations to Black Pearl, or excuse me, to Steel Titan and the Black Pearl, and looking forward to the future for him. And then to wrap up the night, we had Freestyle, which again, numerous phenomenal runs. Out of the 14 trucks, we had 5 out of the 14 trucks score in the 9s. And it was just phenomenal. Gravedigger Legend and Firefly led us off with a phenomenal run. It had everything needed: the momentum, the wow factors, the saves, the jumps, the best trick, the skills. I mean, it had everything to lead us off, and it was definitely a tough run to follow up on. He scored a 9.034, which held for a short while, unfortunately, but I'll get to that. Also, my Dalmatian April Summers came out with a great run. Scored an 8.701. Daniel the Fireball San Diego Alaska Murray and Northern Nightmare throughout the run of the season, if you will. This was the icing on the cake. This was the cherry on top to end this season of his that slowly started taking a nosedive towards the end. He came out with a phenomenal run. The momentum, the flips, the combos, the saves, the air. I mean, it was a phenomenal. I don't even know what to say. I mean, Daniel, huge shout out to you for putting out such an amazing run. I mean, I still can't believe it. It was personally one of my favorite runs, and a lot of these runs were my favorite, but Daniel really threw it down out there and scored a 9.481, which phenomenal score, mind you, and just from start to finish, action all the way around, and it was just phenomenal. So huge props to Daniel for that run. Matt Johnson and Max D would follow suit with an 8.777. Toucan Plays and Avenger ended early and took quite a huge penalty as he left quite a bit of time on the clock. 5.588. Nova Strider and Crustacean, phenomenal run in the first half or so. Kind of slowed down in the middle towards the end. Kind of got stuck on an obstacle doing a cross thread, and then unfortunately ended the run early and received a penalty for leaving time on the clock. So a 7.273 for her. Lucas Stabilizer, Cecily 96, honestly had a championship run going, and I know Daniel Murray was nervous and he was sweating a bit because it was an amazing run, but left about 10-15 seconds on the clock, and that is honestly what hurt her score. She got a 9.058, but I promise you, had she continued that run and finished those 10-15 seconds and had a great wow factor in there, she would have definitely taken the lead away from Daniel, as it was definitely a championship caliber run in my opinion. Riley Strider and Blue Thunder, another truck with one of my favorite runs, just threw it all out there, man. I mean, dude went crazy, but unfortunately was not able to take the lead and was just shy by about 0.3 points. He scored a 9.198, but honestly, one of my favorite runs of the night. And definitely, I don't know, had it had just a little more, maybe, I don't know. Definitely would have taken the lead and the championship, but unfortunately not enough to take the lead away from Northern Nightmare. M&J Producer and Alien Invasion, unfortunately, was a victim to the penalty for hitting the walls, as right at the get-go hit the wall pretty hard and hit it again later on in the run, and unfortunately scored a 6.722. Megalodon and Pilor 89 came out with something new in his freestyle runs. Definitely something different than what we were used to seeing from him. Unfortunately, didn't take the lead, 8.284, but still was a great run nonetheless. Gravedigger and Kind of Fluffy came out with one of the biggest backflips we've seen all season. I mean, the amount of air. Dude was probably almost touching the roof with his tires when he was in the middle of that flip. I mean, it was phenomenal. And definitely, again, one of those clips that you just need to watch to really understand. I believe he did hit the wall at some point. He also did like a kickflip move at some point, which was amazing. But again, he hit the wall at some point, and that's what kind of hurt his score. 8.527 is what he got. Brutus and Ninja Garcia, we had all eyes on him, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to pull out enough to take the lead. 8.469. Steel Titan and the Black Pearl came out with a run that we never thought we'd see from Steel Titan and the Black Pearl. Phenomenal run. Combos, saves, air. I mean, we saw a double backflip from this guy. We were seeing moves we had never seen throughout the regular season. He was throwing everything out there and was just on fire. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, dude was killing it. But in the grand scheme of things, once, comparing the two runs and comparing the scores and doing the final tallies, he unfortunately did not have enough to take the lead. A 9.303 was what he scored, which still was a phenomenal score, but not enough to take the lead away from Daniel. And speaking of score, I didn't really mention any of this, but judging for this competition was completely flipped around, as it was for the last couple stops. But basically, every move counts. Every move counted. Momentum counted. The variation of points, there were caps to make sure that you wouldn't. What's the word? Basically, come out and do like 5 backflips and expect a huge score. Like, we were trying to discourage the multiple flips and all that craziness, the spamming and all that. Basically, a good clean run with good clean combos and a good variation of them. So that took effect, as well as penalties for hitting the walls. There were huge penalties for hitting the walls, as well as not filling the clock. So just something that I forgot to mention. I mentioned in Best Trick the judging system, but not for freestyle. So I just wanted to touch up on that really quick. But Dragon and Arca 959 was the last truck out. The 14th final truck, the only truck in the way of Daniel Murray and Northern Nightmare having a championship here in World Finals 1, but unfortunately was not able to do so. Flipped early, left a lot of time on the clock, and scored a 7.451. So Daniel, the Fireball San Diego Alaska Murray in Northern Nightmare, was or is your World Finals 1 freestyle champion. So huge congratulations to him. It was a phenomenal run, and definitely one that no one's ever going to forget. And at the end of it all, when it came to the overall event championship, it was none other than Steel Titan and the Black Pearl with 52 points for the competition as a whole. Matt Johnson and Max D just behind him with 50. And then I believe Brutus and Ninja Garcia was in third with 35 points. So that just shows you the difference between the top 2 tour champions and the rest of the drivers. I mean, they were absolutely dominant all competition long, and that's why they were tour champions. But really quick, before we move on to the next section, I just want to congratulate all the winners for World Finals 1, that being Nova Strider in Crush Station being the last chance qualifier winner, Matt Johnson and Max D not only being your Tour Violet champion, but your fastest qualifier and racing World Finals champion. Steel Titan and the Black Pearl not only being the Tour Blue champion, but also being the World Finals 1 Best Trick champion, as well as the overall event champion. And then none other than my good friend Daniel the Fireball Murray being the World Finals 1 Freestyle champion, putting out a phenomenal run and an amazing score. And before we move on to the next segment of today's episode, I just want to share these messages from our winners this season.
Hi, I'm Nova Strider, driver of Crustacean and your LCQ winner.
And this is Riley Strider, driver of Blue Thunder in Season 1 and Sparkle Smash in the upcoming Season 2.
We both ran a fantastic season these past few months, taking home several trophies.
That's right. And this upcoming Season 2 is going to be more of the same. The Monster Lobster and the Devil Corner coming for another World Finals appearance.
Hey guys, it's Matt Johnson, your World Finals Racing Champion and Tour Violet winner. I just wanted to say it was an incredible honor to be able to participate in the very first season of the Showdown League of Champions and be able to meet so many of these awesome drivers and become friends with them. And I also want to give a special shout out to Steel Titan. Man, you are a beast, and when you return, we have to run this back. And one more thing, in the very first season, you witnessed my destruction. And in this upcoming season, you're about to meet the Reaper.
What's going on, everyone? Steel Titan here, driver of Black Pearl in Season 1 of Project Rod's Showdown Champions League. I am your Tour Blue points champion, as well as your World Finals 1 Best Trick champion and World Finals 1 overall event champion. Now, Season 1, it was a great, epic season. Me and Pillar had a fantastic rivalry. Couldn't have asked for it any other way. Came down to the wire at the end, and I managed to just edge out and pull off the win. Now, Matt, I'm coming for you. I have unfinished business with you. I won't be here for Season 2, but I will try my hardest to be back for Season 3, and hopefully I'm on tour with you, Matt, because I gotta end that undefeated streak. I'm coming. Other than that, it was a great season, great World Finals, great finals match between me and Matt King. It was 0.006 seconds, that race. Photo finish. Again, I won't be here for Season 2 because I'm going to be busy. I'll be here for try my hardest to be back for Season 3. And hopefully I'm on tour with Matt so we can have an epic showdown. World Finals was awesome. It was a great season. Good luck to everyone in Season 2. Thank you, Rod. It was an epic season. Can't wait to be back. Peace.
What is going on, everybody? It is Daniel the Fireball Murray. I am here post-World Finals on the Rodcast. Finally, it's been forever. First of all, I want to thank Project Rod for letting me have the opportunity to, I guess, speak my mind a little bit. Every World Finals winner is allowed to do that, and because I did not San Diego it in Death Valley, if I say any more about my win, that's just being really, really shallow. But if there's anything I can say, it's I want to say, I guess, a great congratulations to Matt. I want to send a great congratulations to my Ontarian brother, Steel Titan, who sadly will not be in Season 2. But as soon as he comes back for Season 3, I really hope me and him are on the same tour because I want a piece of that Titan. But other than that, yeah, pretty much all I gotta say is I'm really hyped up for next season, especially the Steel Titans League. It's coming back. It's gonna be bigger and badder than ever. We got 2 tours, and I don't think one of them is arenas, so it's just gonna be full on monster trucks tearing it up on stadiums, even in my hometown. So if I can manage to get a win there, oh my goodness, it would be the greatest thing ever. But I'm not going to say anymore. I'm going to let the series play out. I'm going to cross my fingers. And San Diego. Anyways, best of luck to everybody else. Showdown 2 coming soon. Cannot wait for that. Everybody's being picked by the man himself, who is indeed hosting this Rodcast, Project Rod. Thank you so much. It's been an honor driving for you. And if there's anything I can say, you better give me some fuel, give me some fire, because this has been the Fireball.
All right, and again, a huge thank you to all of those drivers. Huge thank you and huge congratulations to all of them. And I look forward to the future of them on this series, as well as any other series that they may participate in. So again, huge thank you to them, huge congratulations, and let's move on with the rest, or the next topic of this episode. Season 2 is in the sights of everybody, and the lineup is just about ready. We're waiting on the 16th and final driver to be announced. Again, I mentioned this in the Discord. If you're on the Discord, you know. If you're not, be sure to join, as everything goes down on Discord. All the news, all the updates, everything going on is on the Discord, and you will be aware of everything and all the news and current news and what's happening. But it was announced earlier in the season that the drivers for Season 2 would be handpicked for Season 2 instead of just leaving it opening the door for anybody to join. I wanted to ensure that, one, people were chosen for not only, not only by performance from Season 1, but also reliability. as we want to avoid any and all delays. As again, this series should have happened last October, November. I mean, we should have been on season 2, going to season 3 by now, but unfortunately, we faced a ton of delays, and that's something we want to avoid. Another reason why I lessened the lineup from 24, which we ended up with, I think, 21, and then ended up going down to 19. But that's why I lessened it from that many trucks down to 16, 8 in each tour. One, for editing purposes, to kind of help me out a bit, because I mean, these take hours to edit. And what kind of really kills me the most is the graphics. A lot goes into the graphics. That takes countless hours, as well as getting all this edited together. Not even to mention the commentary. I mean, it takes me a lot of time, and I kind of just want to, save myself a little bit and not stress so much about it, because it's hard work, and it's a lot of fun, but man, it's tough. So I'm hoping that these not only that, but the commentary kind of saves my voice. And I'm sure a lot of you noticed that in World Finals my voice shifted a lot, but that's because my throat was gone. My voice was gone. I was already feeling a little sick. I had to do the commentary, and it just ruined my voice to where I was in the middle of, I believe, Best Trick, and I had to completely cut it and just take a break for like 3-4 days. And I was borderline. I mean, I was getting these commentaries done like a day or 2 max before the day the video was supposed to be released, and it was killer. But I needed to give myself that time to heal, and I was able to, and I was able to get Best Trick and Freestyle done, and obviously now I do sound normal, but it was tough. So I give myself a break with that too. So hoping for good things this season, hoping that those changes are good changes and we're able to proceed pretty well. But the Tour champions, as well as the World Finals champions, all got automatic bids into Season 2. Of course, Matt Johnson and Max D and Steel Titan, being World Finals champions, kind of took some of those spots. But unfortunately, I mentioned this before already, I believe, and especially in the Discord, but Steel Titan will not be returning for Season 2 as he has some other obligations he needs to take care of. But there is chance for him to come back in the future for a possible other season. And looking forward to his return, as we would love to see what else he has in the tank for this competition. But Matt Johnson and Max D will be returning. And then, of course, the other championship that was left was the World Finals Freestyle Championship, which went to, again, Daniel Murray and Northern Nightmare, who will also be returning for Season 2. So, waiting for the 16th and final driver to be announced, which should be, by the time this episode releases, I'm pushing this to Tuesday, because I needed to take care of some things. So, I should already have that 16th and final driver ready. I'm just waiting for confirmation, which you might already know who it is. But at this point, if you don't, I currently don't. I mean, I do, but I don't. I'm just going to go ahead and announce the 15 that are confirmed for Season 2. That being, again, Matt Johnson coming back in Grandma Gravedigger. So changing the seat that he sits in. He's going from Max D to a Gravedigger, Team Gravedigger, but the Grandma Digger, if you will. And Matt the Reaper Johnson coming back for some more in Season 2. Again, Daniel the Fireball Murray returning in Northern Nightmare. Pillar89 giving up the massive shark and instead going for the giant squid in Kraken. Firefly will be returning, but instead of in Gravedigger the Legend, he'll be returning in Gravedigger 1, also known as Primer Gravedigger or Mud Truck Gravedigger. But he'll be returning in a different Gravedigger truck this time around. Knucklehead, a newcomer in Bad News Travels Fast, debuting for the first time in my series, in my channel, and just overall, not only the driver but the truck itself making its debut. And let me just kind of take a couple steps back here. Again, Matt Johnson and Daniel Murray were picked because they were winners of championships. Pillar89 and Firefly were picked based on skill, as they, again, Pillar89 came second in Tour Blue, almost came out with the championship, but was just shy, but definitely want to see his return. Firefly was the top freestyler in the regular season with the highest average freestyle score. So again, his performance is what got him into Season 2. Knucklehead, a newcomer. Again, I wanted to encourage newcomers onto the scene, so that's why he was chosen. Elijah Walton, debuting in Thunder Roarus. So another truck and driver debuting for the first time here on the channel, and looking forward to see what he has in store for us. MMJ producer, the man with the beats from Connecticut, in Bad Company. So instead of returning in Alien Invasion, he will be in a new truck. Bad Company debuting for the first time, and again, another driver picked solely on performance, as unfortunately he was winless in the regular season, but he was just shy so many times that I know he has something in him that he can definitely come out with a huge win in the season. So I'm looking forward to see what else he has in store for us moving forward. Angel Garcia will be returning in Axe. So coming out of the seat of Brutus and going into the seat of Axe, Angel Garcia, looking forward to seeing what he has in store for Season 2. Again, another driver picked on performance, as he had 2 freestyle wins of the season, and both times were incredibly high scores. And not only that, he was an amazing racer, second fastest qualifier in racing for World Finals. And in the regular season, he came close quite a few times, and he was a tough truck to beat out there. So again, another driver that I'm looking forward to see what he has in store for us in the regular season. Steven Waters in Vendetta, another truck and driver debuting for the first time on the channel. Looking forward to see what they have in store for us, as well as B Mamba 24 in Mohawk Warrior, another debuting truck and driver. The Dancer Derek, a new driver in a familiar truck, Son of a Digger, making his debut on the channel. Riley Strider, a familiar face with 2 freestyle wins on the season, a returning driver for Season 2. Again, chosen on performance, 2 freestyle wins on the season. Phenomenal freestyler, and looking forward to see what he has in store in Sparkle Smash. So giving up Blue Thunder and going for the Giant Unicorn, seeing what kind of luck he has in Season 2. And then, of course, we couldn't include Riley Strider without his wife, Nova Strider, who was your last chance qualifier winner and honestly had some amazing progression throughout the regular season, as it was night and day between her and Stop 1 and her in World Finals. She showed everybody that she's more than capable of being one of these heavy hitters, and she will be returning in Crush Station. So looking forward to big things from Nova Strider this season. Walker Stevens in Blue Thunder, taking Riley's truck this time around and jumping in the Blue Thunder truck for the first time this season, as Walker Stevens is debuting here in the Showdown Champions League, and looking forward again on him for great things coming from him. And then last but not least, our 15th and final driver up until now, because driver number 16 is coming, but Caden Wilson in Monster Mutt Rottweiler, making his debut. Both him and the truck alike will be debuting for the first time on the channel. So again, looking forward to great things from him. So those are your 15 drivers and trucks that are for sure confirmed in the lineup. And we have a 16th and final, which again is probably announced by this point. I don't know. I'm still waiting on confirmation up until today, or at least at this point that I'm recording. But he will be confirmed, or they will be confirmed at some point here in the next couple days. So I'm excited. I'm ready for this. There's been quite a few questions on timeline. Again, you got to remember the Steel Titans 2 League is coming up as well, which will premiere first. But again, that's going to give more time for these drivers in the Showdown League to get their clips ready and submitted on time. As again, we want to avoid any kind of delays, any kind of issues that we could have in the future. There was a poll, and I'm still referring to the Showdown League. I want to touch base on this. There's 13 hours left, but it's kind of already decided on where this is going. But there's currently a poll on whether or not the racing for Showdown should follow the original rules set in the regular season, or the World Finals rules that were set in the World Finals to be more strict. And right now, the old rules are winning 76% to 24%, as the old rules were, if you draw, as long as you're on top or within the smoke gate, you're good. If you're outside, you'll get a penalty. But the World Finals rules were, if you drive on top of the smoke gate, you will get a penalty. You need to stay within the smoke gates no matter what. Hey, right now it seems like the old rules are winning, so chances are that's where it's going to go. I kind of figured that's where it was going to go, but again, I want to keep it fair. I want everyone to have an equal voice here, and to voice their opinions, as well as be able to vote on what they want in the competition as a whole. Another thing, or another upcoming poll, which I'll have it up probably Monday, or by now at this point, it's probably going to be up or already over with. But basically, there was tons of issues in the regular season and a little bit in World Finals where drivers kept crashing into the walls, hitting head on to the walls, hitting the containers and whatnot, just kind of hitting. I don't know. It was too much. And in real Monster Jam now, obviously, if you hit the wall, they'll shut you off. Now, I would like to avoid the shutoff, but I feel like if you hit the wall and it's pretty hard, you shouldn't be allowed to continue the run and then ultimately have a chance at the win. I just feel like it's not completely fair, and we kind of touched up on it in the beginning of the regular season, or the beginning of the first season, where I guess I took a vote, or I kind of got everyone's opinions on whether or not this is something that would be penalized or not, and a lot of people voted against it. But me personally, I feel like it's definitely something we need to revisit. So the poll is going to be basically, should you be penalized? Should your score be penalized for hitting the walls? Or should you be shut off and your run will end hitting the walls? And I feel like shutting off is a bit harsh, but the penalty could be just as harsh. But I do want to discourage stuff like that happening for freestyle runs. So that's why I want to implement it and stay true to it in season 2. So just keep an eye out for that. Other than that, that's pretty much it for the Showdown League. Again, those 15 drivers are confirmed as of now. Hopefully nothing changes, but you never know. Life gets in the way, things get in the way, and that could change. So that's it for that. We're going to jump topics to the Steel Titans League, which a lot of questions have been asked on when that is going to start. And honestly, again, I already touched up on this, but I did want to take a bit of a break, kind of step away from all the competitions for just a little bit, not a long time, but only because, again, this is incredibly time consuming. It takes a lot of time to get this stuff done, and between the editing, the graphic creation, the commentary and whatnot, I mean, it's hours and hours and hours that it takes. And I mean, I'm a full-grown adult, I have an adult job. I got other obligations. I have family, so of course I need to make time for everybody as well as myself. And this is basically a hobby that is slowly turning into something a little more, I don't want to say serious, but a little more demanding, I guess is the correct word. So I don't want to go too long without anything, but I also don't want this to consume my life. At least for now, I guess. Who knows? Maybe I have a future in this and I can just do this for the rest of my life and not have to work a regular, boring adult job. But, you never know. Things are different. Life is hard. So, we never know where any of this is going to take us. But I've been kind of eyeing a June start for the Steel Titans 2 League. I know it's a huge gap. I know, I completely understand, and I do apologize. But I feel like that would give me time to at least get ahead on editing and kind of just get ahead as much as possible to where there aren't any delays, and I'm not worrying about having to do an off week or I'm not going to have this commentary in time, so I'm going to have to push the upload, or I'm rushing to get it done, so then it's not the quality that I like. Whatever it is, I don't want there to be any delays or any issues. So I want to give myself time to not only take a break and relax, but also kind of get in a good spot to where I'm not stressing about it later, which means future for the Showdown series. I don't know. I'm thinking possibly July, August. And I know, we're in April right now. That's a huge gap. But I'm also looking at how I'm going to do a recording or an upload schedule for Steel Titans, because I was doing weekly. One week was one stop. But because these videos are going to be shorter, I'm possibly considering combining racing and qualifying in one video and best trick and freestyle in one video for the Showdown League, and doing maybe Tour Black, racing and qualifying Monday, best trick freestyle Tuesday, take a break Wednesday, Thursday, Tour Yellow, racing qualifying Friday, Best Trick, Freestyle for Tour Yellow. And that way it's one stop for each tour every week. So it's a 5-week long thing plus World Finals, an extra week for World Finals, instead of doing a complete like 3-4 month long upload schedule. So I don't know, something I'm considering. I don't know yet. We'll see. I don't know. I'm still kind of flirting with the idea here. But as of now, I'm looking more so at like a June start at this point, just because I need some time and I need to be able to get caught up enough to be comfortable with these uploads and whatnot. So, but one last thing for the Steel Titans League before I move on is that there is currently a poll there. I kind of left it more so for the drivers in that tour, but anybody's open to it. It's basically the event champion if they should receive points or not, kind of like we did in the Showdown League where they received 5 bonus points. I did it again here where the options are 1 point, 3 point, 5 points, or no points. And so far, 5 points are winning with 6 votes. 1 point is 4 votes, and 3 points is three votes. So nobody's voted for no, which is surprising. But right now, 5 points is leading, and chances are that's where it's going to go. But we'll see what happens. So moving on to the last bit of today's episode. Just gonna go over a bit of Q&A that we have here from, again, Caden the Great One. I appreciate you for all these questions. Keep throwing them at me. I'm looking forward to it, and I really enjoy answering these questions. Again, it kind of helps you get into the lore of myself, if you will, but kind of, learn a little bit more of me. And I don't know, I do appreciate it and I enjoy it. So let's go ahead and get this started, as we are currently getting close to that hour mark, and I don't want this episode to be too long. So his first question is, if you can bring World Finals anywhere, where would you bring it? Houston, Texas, 100%. Houston, Texas, 100%. My second choice, Arlington, Texas. My third guess, San Antonio, Texas. See where I'm going with this? Not El Paso. El Paso's kind of scary. But Houston, San Antonio, or Dallas, 100%. Bring it closer to me so I don't have to fly anywhere. Everywhere has been so far. And I would love to just be able to drive there in a span of just a few hours, rather than having to fly somewhere or drive. Like Utah, where they're going to have World Finals this year, is like a 26-hour drive or something from me. And it's like, I can't do that. Okay, so if you made it this far in the episode, that was a legitimate shock. The missus walked in the middle of my recording. Now, mind you, all of my recording, all of my commentaries, all of my podcasts are either super late at night when everyone's in bed, or like I said, during my lunch breaks and all that stuff. Basically alone with nobody around, just because it's easy to do this with nobody around, but with people in the area, I get embarrassed, if I'm being honest. So it shocked me, and I edited the rest of that part out, but we just had a conversation about that, or about whatever, and it just completely shocked me. So yeah, just wanted to point that out because I was just kind of random there. But to continue with the question, yes, I would like to bring World Finals somewhere local to where I can easily drive there. Of course, Houston is going to be my number one choice. Then San Antonio is a 2-hour drive, and then Dallas is a 4-hour drive, or Arlington, actually. So those would be my top choices, if I'm being honest, only because I want it to be closer. Of course, you got the generic answer, Las Vegas, Sam Boyd Stadium. I would love for it to return there, but I would love for it to be here local to where I can easily make it there, and for sure guarantee myself my attendance there. Moving on to Caden's next question, which is, which do you prefer, Marvel or DC? In terms of the truck. Oh wait, could also include the trucks. Oh, I think he meant it in general sense, not just in Monster Jam. So I'm going to answer it both ways. I was always more of a Marvel fan. I loved the Marvel Cinematic Universe all the way up to Endgame. And I feel like that's where a lot of people share that same opinion. The third Spider-Man movie with all 3 Spider-Men that came out after Endgame, that was fantastic. The Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was fantastic. But post Endgame, I haven't really seen anything else other than those 2 movies. I just lost interest. I feel like the original cinematic universe for Marvel was phenomenal, and I don't think they'll ever be able to repeat that ever again. But I was always more of a Marvel person. DC, I mean, I've seen a few DC movies. And I guess heroes as a whole, you know, I was more so of a Batman fan, just because I thought it was great how he was just super rich and solved his problems with money. I just thought that was awesome. And his superpower was basically being rich. When it comes to the DC movies, I think my favorite is Batman versus Superman. I know that's not really everybody's favorite, but I prefer the what was it? It was like an extended version or something, but it gave more background. It gave more story to the movie that made more sense. And I really did enjoy it. I believe Ben Affleck was a great Batman. I know there's a lot of debate on who the best Batman was. I'm not saying he's the best Batman, but definitely a good Batman and a good Bruce Wayne. So, but again, I've always been more so on the Marvel side, like Spider-Man, Iron Man were my favorites growing up. Obviously, Deadpool is great. I did see those movies. But in terms of the trucks themselves, both trucks, phenomenal designs. I would say, though, I do prefer the original Marvel designs, at least like in terms of the original Captain America, the original Iron Man. Those were fantastic. I never really saw Thor. Hulk was pretty cool. Wolverine was great. But these new ones aren't bad. Oh, the original Spider-Man was fantastic. The newer ones aren't too bad. I think Iron Man just looks a little funky. Thor looks great. Black Panther's kind of cool. Spider-Man's pretty cool. But I don't know. I really like the original Marvel Monster Jam trucks. But then when it goes to the DC, I absolutely loved the Batman Monster Jam truck as well as the Superman one. I mean, both of those were fantastic. And Wonder Woman was a great truck. Amazing design. I really wish it would have stuck around a lot longer. But it's hard to choose, honestly, between the Monster Jam trucks. I mean, it's easy to choose, you know, movies and fan bases and comics and whatnot. I was, you know, again, more of a Marvel guy. But when it comes to the trucks, I think they were both great in their own way. And I would love to see them both come back. And I think it'd be really interesting if Monster Jam could partner with these IPs and, you know, do like a Marvel versus DC tour or event. I feel like that would really ramp up a lot of attendance and interest in the shows as a whole. So I think it's a fantastic idea, and I think it would do great for Monster Jam. So let me know what you prefer, both in the trucks and in like the actual comics and movies and all that. Are you more of a Marvel person, or are you more of a DC person? And I don't know if I said this already, but if you can take bring the World Finals to anywhere, where would it be? Be sure to let me know your answers as well down below, and then I'll recap that in the next episode for the next Rodcast episode. His next question is there any movie you're going to see in theaters coming soon? And not that I can think of right off the bat. I haven't really been a movie person, if I'm being honest. I'm not. There isn't too much out right now that I'm really interested in. The last movie that I was dying to see was Sonic the Hedgehog 3, just because I am a huge Sonic fan. That one had Shadow the Hedgehog in it. I absolutely love Shadow. Sonic the Hedgehog has been a huge part of my childhood, so I loved seeing that, and I made sure I went to the movie theater to see that. I did see the Minecraft movie. It was okay. Honestly, I did not know what was going on for the most part. I feel like a lot of people were the same. The references were great. I loved the references and having, you know, being able to point things out as a fan. But honestly, the story was just kind of odd, and I don't know how I feel about it as a whole, but it wasn't bad. But any movie, I'm trying to think. Again, the Marvel movies haven't really been doing it for me lately, and there's really no other movie calling my attention. Honestly, I'll tell you what, though, I am looking forward to Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Was never really much of a Five Nights at Freddy's fan from the get-go. I always thought it was kind of weird. But then when the first movie was announced, I decided to look into it a little more, and I was watching a lot of game theory videos, you know, MatPat. Watching a lot of those videos and really getting into the lore and the story behind Five Nights at Freddy's, and I'm like, man, this is actually really interesting, and it's such a basic game or game concept, and it was actually really, really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. So I watched the first movie. It was great. I bought it on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever it is, and I did see that there was a teaser trailer here recently for Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and I believe it's coming out in December. So if anything, as of now, that is the current movie that I'm going to be seeing here soon in theaters once it comes out. I definitely want to see it. I can't think of any other one right off the top of my head right now, just because, I'm not really much of a movie guy. Nothing is really interesting to me right now. So Five Nights at Freddy's 2, let me know what's the next movie that you're going to see here in theaters pretty soon. Let me know in the comments. And then his last question is, will there be multiple color options for the Steel Titans League shirts? I haven't really thought of it, just because I base all of my logos and designs off of, I guess, the ones that I plan to make merch out of. I do plan them all to be on black shirts. I feel like that's kind of the generic go-to. Adding too many options may make it a little more complicated. I have thought of maybe adding like white as an option, but I feel like a lot of people tend to like black more. And also white shirts tend to get stained very easily. That's why I personally do not like white shirts. I like black shirts. But I mean, if there's a different color option you would like, let me know. I can definitely try and see if I can make them options. But I haven't really thought about it too much. Again, just because it seems like merch all the way around is just black is the go-to color for merch, like shirts and sweaters and stuff. So I just kind of stuck with that. The great questions, Caden the Great. Great one. Caden, you're awesome. Thank you for all these questions. Every single week you have some phenomenal questions for me, and I do appreciate that. So keep them up, and look forward to the next ones. I have another question from Angel Garcia, and his question is, what is your least favorite truck? And I will say this with my whole chest, the Rod Ryan Show truck. I absolutely hate it. I hate that truck, just because, and I've said this plenty of times, and it's maybe not the answer you're looking for. I'm sure I can find another truck that I don't like, but honestly, the Rod Ryan Show, going to the Houston shows, I hate that truck. I'm not a big fan of the radio show as a whole anyways, just because they claim to be a rock station, but they don't play anything close to that. And it's a lot of the exact same songs over and over and over and over again, and it just gets really annoying. It's not it. And then whenever I go to Monster Jam, it's a 12 truck lineup. We're already limited because it used to be 16. Now we're at 12, and then there's trucks that I'm like super stoked to see. And of course, one of them gets taken away to use the Rod Ryan body. Like we didn't get Axe earlier this year because we got the Rod Ryan body. And it's like, I want to see Axe in person. I think Axe is a phenomenal looking truck, but I didn't get to see it because it had the Rod Ryan Show body on it. So it's that, and I forget what other trucks in the past that the Rod Ryan Show has taken over, and it's just annoying to me. Like, I get it, I get the whole reasoning for it, but it's like, come on, like, I'd rather see the truck that everybody else gets to see, that I'm looking forward to see, than seeing this dumb truck. I'm sorry, it is what it is. I don't like it. I hate it. Not my favorite. So I'm not going to get too into it because it's really annoying. But that is my least favorite truck. And moving on, I think that's it. Nothing else in the question section. So that's going to be it. I'm going to wrap this up. We're already at about an hour, or over an hour at this point. So a fantastic episode. I'm sorry that I've been yapping this whole time. Thank you again to the tour winners for joining in and giving me that audio clip to getting in your busy schedules able to record that audio clip for me to include in this episode. And I hope to have some of y'all on the show in the future for a full-blown episode and a full-blown interview, if you will. So other than that, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support, for watching the videos, for being in the Discord, for chatting with me. I know I've been a little absent lately, except for when it comes to the uploads. I've just had a lot going on. I have tons and tons of extra work now. And I also try to find some time, some home time, some family time, to ensure that I'm not getting too sucked into this, and I'm still, able to I guess have a good balance with everything. But other news: World Final shirts for the Showdown Champions League is up on my fourth wall. Link is in the bio, as well as the Steel Titans 2 League shirts are on that shop as well. I don't think I have tour shirts out yet for the Steel Titans League, but I do have just the plain Steel Titans 2 Champions League logo shirts on my fourth wall, as well as the Project Rod hat that is also on fourth wall, and eventually more merch will be coming soon. So be sure to check that out. Be sure to check W Energy out again. Use code Project Rod to receive 10% off of your W Energy order. Be better with W Energy. Beach and Peach and Galaxy Grenade are my personal favorites. And if you're sensitive to caffeine, you don't want to do caffeine, completely understandable. They have a hydration option as well that works kind of like an electrolyte drink, a hydration drink, which is also fantastic. I've tried them before. If you're hesitant, they have sampler packs for both the energy drinks and the hydration drinks that come with a shaker cup. And of course, code Project Rod works on that as well. So it helps out the channel a lot. It helps support. It helps support me and the channel when you use my code, so I really do appreciate that. And that's all I have for this week. Next week, I'm not sure if there will be an episode. I'm sorry. I'm going on vacation this weekend. I'm going to be going out of town from Friday to Monday, so I don't think I'll have time to record an episode. If I do, it'll be late. If not, I'm just going to push it to the next week, so I do apologize. But I do need, some what is it, R&R, rest and relaxation, is that the right word? I don't know. Regardless, thank you guys so much. I appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate all the support. Y'all have been amazing. I say this all the time. I sound like a broken record. I could not do this without you guys. I appreciate all of the support, and I just appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for letting me do what I do. Thank you for all the support. I can't emphasize it enough. I can't stress it enough that I appreciate you guys, and it just makes this so much more better. And I'm extremely grateful. So again, thank you guys so much. I'm Project Rod, and I'll see you in the next one.